What happens when the very heart of a show suddenly steps away? That's the question every fan of Hudson and Rex is asking right now. For 7 seasons, John Reardon has been the face of Detective Charlie Hudson, the man who brought humanity, intelligence, and charm into every single case. And now, with Season 8 on the horizon, fans are left wondering who can possibly fill those shoes. Before we talk about the new detective, let's first take a deep look at John Reardon's legacy on the series, because without understanding what he built, we can't fully appreciate the weight of this transition. Charlie Hudson wasn't just another detective on TV, he was the emotional anchor of Hudson and Rex, and his bond with Rex became the show's heartbeat. From the very beginning, audiences were drawn to his kindness and his ability to connect with both humans and the brilliant German Shepherd at his side. Charlie wasn't written as a cold, by-the-book officer. Instead, John Reardon gave him a warmth that balanced his sharp instincts as a cop. This made him feel real, approachable, and human in a way that resonated deeply with fans. Every time he leaned down to comfort Rex or shared a smile with his colleagues, viewers felt that connection through the screen. The partnership between Hudson and Rex is where the magic really lived. A detective and his canine partner isn't a new idea, but what Reardon and Diesel Vomberg created together felt different. It wasn't just about solving crimes, it was about loyalty, trust, and companionship. Rex wasn't just Hudson's partner. He was his best friend, his confidant, and often the one who saved the day. Reardon's calm presence paired with Rex's energy created a balance that carried the whole show. Fans tuned in not only for the crime solving, but for the little moments, the shared looks, the unspoken understanding, the bond that felt unbreakable. That's something no script alone could deliver. It was the performance and chemistry that made it believable. John Reardon's portrayal also gave Hudson and Rex its emotional weight. Whether it was handling difficult cases, protecting innocent people, or even facing personal struggles, his performance carried a depth that kept the series grounded. Without his humanity, the show could have easily drifted into predictable crime-of-the-week television. But with him, every case felt personal, and every episode had an emotional thread that tied fans to the characters. His quiet strength, his sense of humor, and his dedication to justice made Detective Hudson more than just a character. He became someone viewers cared about. That's why the news of his departure feels so heavy. It's important to remember that actors don't just play roles. They leave pieces of themselves behind in those characters. For John Reardon, Charlie Hudson will always be a defining role. His chemistry with the cast, especially Mako Nguyen as Dr. Sarah Trong, gave fans moments of warmth, humor, and even hints of romance that kept speculation alive for seasons. His friendship with Rex became iconic, and his leadership within the team was steady and reliable. Hudson wasn't flashy, but he was the backbone of the major crimes unit. And that steadiness made him unforgettable. So when we think about Hudson's absence in Season 8, it isn't just about losing a main character. It's about losing the foundation of the show. The reason fans are anxious is simple. Hudson and Rex has always been a comfort drama, a series you can rely on for both excitement and heart. Reardon's presence guaranteed that balance. Without him, the show enters unknown territory. Can the bond between Rex and his new partner ever feel as authentic? Can fans connect in the same way to a brand new face stepping into such an important role? These are the questions everyone is asking, and they set the stage for what comes next. John Reardon's legacy on Hudson and Rex is more than 7 seasons of television. It's a blueprint for what made the show special. His departure doesn't erase the past. Instead, it highlights just how high the bar has been set for anyone who follows. Fans may feel sadness or even frustration, but that's a sign of how deeply his performance mattered. It's rare for a show to capture lightning in a bottle, but with Reardon and Rex, that's exactly what happened. And now, as Season 8 introduces change, one thing is clear: no matter who steps in next, Charlie Hudson's spirit will always be part of Hudson and Rex. Why did John Reardon, the man who carried Hudson and Rex for 7 seasons, decide to step away? That's the burning question at the center of Season 8 for many fans. It feels almost impossible to imagine the show without him. After all, he wasn't just an actor playing a role, he was the heartbeat of the series. But like every long-running drama, sometimes change happens behind the scenes that we never fully see on screen. And when it comes to Reardon's exit, there are layers of possibilities that paint the bigger picture. The first and most common reason in television is simple: creative direction. Shows evolve and producers often make bold choices to refresh a series. After 7 seasons, the writers may have felt that Hudson's story had reached a natural conclusion. His bond with Rex, his role in the major crimes team, and even his subtle romance with Dr. Sarah had all been explored in depth. From a storytelling perspective, some creators believe that shaking up the formula keeps viewers engaged. By introducing a new detective, the series opens the door to new dynamics, new chemistry, and fresh storylines. Of course, while that makes sense on paper, fans don't always take kindly to losing the character they've grown attached to. Another possible reason is personal choice. Actors, just like viewers, can feel the weight of repetition. Playing the same role year after year is demanding, and sometimes it leaves little room for other creative opportunities. John Reardon has been acting for over 2 decades, and he may have simply wanted to explore new projects or step away from the demanding schedule of a weekly series. Filming a procedural drama like Hudson and Rex requires long hours, heavy emotional work, and consistent on-location shooting. After 7 years, it's understandable that an actor might decide it's time for a new chapter in their career or personal life. There's also the reality of industry decisions that aren't always shared with fans. Sometimes contract negotiations, budget changes, or shifts in production goals influence casting choices. Television is not only about storytelling, it's also a business. A series entering its 8th season may look at ways to reallocate funds or adjust contracts to extend the life of the show. While official statements often frame departures positively, it's not unusual for business reasons to play a role in cast changes. If Reardon's exit was tied to such behind-the-scenes realities, the showrunners may have decided it was better to write his character out than to risk losing momentum in other areas of production, no matter the exact reason. What makes this change emotional is how the creators chose to handle it. In interviews and promotional materials, there has been a tone of respect for Reardon's work and the impact he had on the show. This isn't a character being tossed aside or forgotten. It's a character who defined the series for years. Fans can sense when a show respects its history, and so far, Hudson and Rex has made it clear that Charlie Hudson's legacy will still be part of the ongoing narrative. Even if he's no longer the one leading every case, the fan response, however, tells its own story. Social media has been flooded with reactions ranging from heartbreak to frustration. Some viewers feel betrayed, saying they can't picture themselves watching without Charlie and Rex together. Others are cautiously optimistic, curious to see how the new detective will interact with Rex and whether the writers can recreate the magic. This divide is natural when a beloved character exits. It tests the loyalty of the fan base. The producers are betting that audiences will stay invested, but it's a risk. In television, loyalty to characters often outweighs loyalty to storylines. And that's what makes this shift so bold. For longtime fans, there's also a sense of finality to Hudson's departure. Many have pointed out that if Reardon had left earlier in the series, the show might not have survived. But now, with 7 successful seasons under its belt, Hudson and Rex has built a strong enough identity to attempt a major change. The question is whether it can carry that identity forward without breaking the Bond audience's feel. At the center of this challenge is Rex. Viewers aren't just wondering how they'll connect to a new human lead, they're asking whether Rex, the emotional core of the show, will still shine without Hudson by his side. John Reardon leaving isn't just about losing an actor. It's about closing a chapter that fans weren't ready to end. But it's also a chance for the series to prove it can grow beyond its original foundation. Whether it was creative choice, personal decision, or business reality, the truth remains. His absence changes everything. Season 8 will be defined by this shift, and how well the show handles it will determine if Hudson and Rex continues as a fan favorite or struggles under the weight of what it lost. The biggest question now is, who steps into the role of Hudson's replacement, and how will fans accept a brand new detective working alongside Rex? Season 8 doesn't just continue the story, it reinvents it by introducing a fresh face to fill the void left by John Reardon. For any show, replacing a beloved lead is a dangerous move, but in a series where the human-canine bond is the heart of every episode, the challenge is even greater. Fans aren't just curious about who this new detective is. They're asking if Rex will ever truly trust someone else, and if audiences can build the same emotional connection they once had with Charlie Hudson. The introduction of a new detective brings both opportunity and risk. On one hand, it gives the writers freedom to explore brand new dynamics. A fresh personality can shake up the team, change the rhythm of investigations, and breathe new life into the formula. On the other hand, it places a heavy weight on the newcomer's shoulders. They aren't just entering a show, they're stepping into the shadow of a character fans considered irreplaceable. The new detective has to win over Rex, the rest of the major crimes unit, and most importantly, the audience. If they can't form that believable connection, the series could lose the magic that made it unique. From what has been teased about this character, the new detective isn't designed to copy Hudson. That's a smart choice. Instead of trying to mimic John Reardon's calm and steady presence, the newcomer brings their own energy and background to the role. This means viewers will see a very different dynamic with Rex, one that doesn't overwrite the past but builds something new. For instance, early reports suggest the new character may have a different approach to solving cases, perhaps more impulsive, more analytical, or more beat the book. This creates space for tension, growth, and eventually trust, which is exactly the kind of emotional arc fans crave, but what fans are really waiting to see is Rex's reaction. For 7 seasons, Rex's loyalty to Hudson was the emotional glue of the show. Their bond felt unshakable, and it often carried the heart of each episode. Now, viewers are left to wonder, how will Rex respond to someone new? Will he resist, showing signs of missing Hudson? Will there be moments of hesitation, where he doesn't immediately trust commands or instincts from his new partner? These small details will be critical in selling the transition. If Rex slowly learns to trust again, the audience might follow that same journey, step by step, until they too believe in the new partnership. The supporting cast also plays an important role in this shift. Characters like Sarah, Jesse, and Joe Donovan are familiar anchors for fans, and how they welcome the new detective will shape audience perception. If they trust him, the audience may be more willing to open up. If there's visible tension or hesitation within the team, it mirrors what viewers are feeling at home. This is where strong writing comes in, balancing humor, conflict, and heart as the group adjusts to a different leader in the field. Their acceptance, especially Sarah's, will help set the tone for how audiences respond. Casting choices also matter greatly. The actor chosen to replace John Reardon brings not just their talent but their reputation. If they already have a following, that can help soften the transition. If they're relatively new, it gives them room to grow into the role without comparisons to past work. Either way, the first episodes of Season 8 will be critical. Fans will be watching every word, every glance, and every interaction with Rex, measuring whether this newcomer deserves the badge and the trust of both the team and the viewers. This kind of replacement is rare in television. Some shows attempt it and fail, losing their audience because the magic can't be recreated. Others, however, manage to thrive by leaning into the change and using it as a chance to evolve. The key for Hudson and Rex is not pretending that nothing has changed. The writers know they can't simply swap one detective for another and expect fans to accept it overnight. Instead, they're likely to acknowledge Hudson's absence directly, showing the impact it has on the team and on Rex, and allowing the new detective to earn his place naturally over time. For fans, the introduction of this character is a test of loyalty. Do they continue watching for Rex in the spirit of the show, or do they walk away because the dynamic they loved is gone? For the show itself, it's a test of creativity and courage. If the new detective can prove himself not by replacing Hudson, but by forging his own bond with Rex, Hudson and Rex could survive this transition and even grow stronger. But if the chemistry isn't there, No amount of clever cases or dramatic plots will save it. One thing is certain, all eyes are on Season 8's newcomer. Every line of dialogue, every choice in performance, and every moment with Rex carries enormous weight. The character isn't just stepping into a job, they're stepping into a legacy. And whether fans love him, hate him, or slowly grow to accept him, his presence will define the future of Hudson and Rex. Season 8 of Hudson and Rex is not just another continuation of weekly mysteries. It's the season that must redefine the show itself. The arrival of a new detective doesn't simply add a character to the team. It reshapes the very foundation of how the series works. Every storyline, every case, and every emotional beat is now viewed through the lens of change. For years, fans could rely on Charlie Hudson's steady hand and Rex's unwavering loyalty to carry each episode. But with Hudson gone, the writers face the enormous task of proving that the show can survive, and maybe even thrive, under a new dynamic. One of the biggest changes Season 8 must tackle is trust building. At its core, Hudson and Rex has always been about the unshakable bond between man and dog. With a new detective stepping in, that bond doesn't exist yet, it has to be earned. This means audiences may see Rex hesitate, test, or even resist his new partner. Those moments will be crucial because they reflect the audience's own feelings. Just as fans aren't sure whether to embrace the newcomer, Rex himself may mirror that uncertainty on screen. Watching Rex slowly warm up, accept commands, and build loyalty will serve as both an emotional anchor and a storyline arc. That gives the season purpose. The show also has to reimagine the team's chemistry. Hudson was not only Rex's partner, but also the glue that held the major crimes unit together. His calm nature balanced out Jesse's enthusiasm, Joe Donovan's authority, and Sarah's quiet strength. Now the team dynamic changes. Will the new detective clash with Jesse's youthful energy? Will Donovan question his leadership skills until he proves himself? Will Sarah step in as a bridge, helping him earn trust both with Rex and the rest of the unit? These interactions allow the writers to explore tension, humor, and growth in ways the show hasn't before. Instead of relying on the familiar comfort of Hudson's stability, Season 8 has the chance to inject conflict and resolution that feels fresh. Storyline-wise, the change opens up new possibilities. With Hudson gone, the writers can lean into cases that reflect themes of transition, trust, and belonging. Imagine a case where the new detective must rely on Rex to uncover a truth he couldn't find on his own, or an investigation that forces the team to question whether their newcomer truly has the instincts Hudson once had. These narrative choices not only drive the plot forward but also serve as metaphors for the audience's own skepticism. Every solved case becomes a step toward proving that this new partnership can work. There's also the emotional weight of Hudson's absence, which cannot be ignored. The best way for the show to honor its past while moving forward is to acknowledge him openly. Perhaps there are references to Hudson's transfer or departure in conversations, moments where Rex is seen looking toward the door, or even small tributes from Sarah or Jesse about how Hudson would have handled this. These touches remind fans that the history isn't being erased, it's being respected. That respect is vital in keeping loyal viewers invested. If the show pretends Hudson never existed, it risks alienating the audience. But if it weaves his legacy into the new chapter, fans may feel more willing to accept the change. From a structural standpoint, Season 8 also has to work harder to keep the audience engaged. The mystery of the week format has always been the backbone of the series, but now there's an added storyline, the ongoing question of whether Rex will fully bond with his new partner. This gives the season a serialized arc that can run beneath the individual cases, giving fans something bigger to latch onto. It's not just about solving crimes anymore, it's about watching a partnership evolve under pressure. That emotional throughline could be the key to keeping audiences glued to the screen. The risks, of course, are enormous. If the chemistry between Rex and the new detective feels forced or unnatural, fans may disconnect quickly. Without the emotional pull of Hudson, the cases alone may not be enough to carry the series. That's why the writing, the performances, and even the direction of Season 8 have to work in harmony to sell this shift. Small details like Rex's body language, the way the new detective learns to understand him, or even moments of humor between them will matter more than ever before, but with risk comes reward. If the show succeeds in building a believable, heartfelt partnership between Rex and his new human companion, it could give Hudson and Rex a second life. Instead of being remembered only as the show John Reardon carried, it could become a story about growth, resilience, and the enduring power of trust between a dog and his handler. By leaning into change rather than avoiding it, the writers have the chance to surprise fans, deliver emotional payoffs, and prove that the series is bigger than one character. No matter how beloved, Season 8 isn't just a test for the new detective, it's a test for the entire series. Can Hudson and Rex honor its past while creating a future that feels exciting and true to its spirit? That's the challenge, and the answer will unfold one episode at a time. But one thing is certain,